Alright, this is just a video for anyone who cares. We're doing a bit of a project here. It's a 1992 Toyota Cressida and we've put a Ls1 in it with a T56 manual gearbox. Thought I'd just do a little tour around it so you can see how the build's going, and once we fire it up and get it running on the track, I'll record a few more things for anyone who needs help putting an engine in these things. Alright, so we'll start with the heart of the vehicle. It's a Ls1 out of a VX Commodore. We've got the HSV headers on it just to provide us with a little more clearance. Painted the engine bay, just rattle canned it, cut the engine bay apart really so we could get more lock, because we've got a pretty aggressive lock kit, I guess you'd call it. We got some cool looking gold insulation to keep the heat out of the cockpit. I don't actually know why it's there, but we threw it there. Custom radiator mounts, as you can see, from 3mm aluminium. We've got the oil filter relocation kit because we've got an oil cooler up the front here. The engine mounts are excessive manufacturing engine mounts, and it's pretty much a solid mounted engine at this point with billet alloy bushes between it. We got the works 3-piece wheels with some custom spray, sort of refurbished lips running RE003s. The specs are 17x9. We've got the TRD Racing Edition brakes with the BA rotors, but they're really just R33 GTSD front brakes that just bolt on, I'm pretty sure, so that's pretty cool. We've got custom extended guards. This is the sort of angle we're getting on lock. We have shortened steering knuckles with extended lower control arms. I don't know if you can see the welds there. We've got BCBR coilovers in it, I believe. You can see you have to sort of weld them to the bracket. Alright, so underneath the car, we've sort of redone all the bushings we can get to. This is the oil filter relocation kit. We're not running a standard sump, we're running an Aeroflow front sump because we had a bit of clearance issues running the standard rear sump on the Ls1. Custom bash plate, just because the sump pretty much sits lower than the cross member at this point. Going around the back here, we're running the standard starter motor. There's pretty much no clearance at all, but I mean it is touching the steering rack, but that shouldn't be a problem for now. What else? The gearbox, we've cut a few tabs off it to fit it into the tunnel. You will have to bash the tunnel a little bit to make it work, but it's nowhere near as aggressive as online makes it out to be. Just kind of, you know, massage it a bit, cut the tabs off that don't need to be there on the gearbox, and should fit pretty easily. Believe this is the excessive manufacturing transmission mount as well, so I'll put links for everything in the description so you guys know where to find everything. These are just the fuel lines we're running from the boot because we've got a fuel cell set up back there. The diff isn't in yet, but we're just running a standard Cressida Grande diff, I guess. I think it's got the LSD in it. Either way, we got the LSD. I'll go back there so you can see it better. Alright, so back of the car now. We've reinforced the diff with this plate. I'm not sure where we got it, but I'll find out where, or if you want to know, just comment below and I'll reply. Solid diff mounts all round, so there's not going to be too much movement there. We've got the dual caliper set up. I don't know what calipers we used off that, but I'll find out and probably put it in the comments. Had all the wheel bearings and everything rebuilt. We've had the lower control arms up the back here reinforced as well, because apparently that's a weak point. But other than having the diff in, we got to get a custom tail shaft made up, but it's getting pretty close to being fired up. Coilovers in the back too, obviously. Before moving on to the fuel system, the diff is solid mounted as well, and it's welded, so you know the LSD stuff doesn't really matter anymore. Alright, so the fuel system, we've removed the standard tank, running a 50 litre fuel cell, mainly because sort of racing we're going to try and do, or if we put on turbos or whatever, we're going to want to future-proof it. We're going to a Holly feed pump from the tank, 35 gallons an hour, to a surge tank running a Bosch 044, I believe, to the fuel filter, fuel regulator, to the feed line, to the engine. Then this is the return back to the surge tank and then back into the actual fuel cell. If you want to know where we got this stuff, most of it's just either on eBay or sort of some cheap online stuff, some stuff we've spent a bit more money on, but other than that, the only sort of thing we had to do is chop that a bit, but we're just going to fab something up and close it all off, box it all up. Other than that, that's the fuel. It didn't stop recording. Alright, so the interior, everything's been gutted pretty much. Up the back too. We've got a Sparco steering wheel, Sparco seat, running standard Cressida passenger seat. Sort of a custom dash setup with all the switches and whatnot to start the car, do the fuel pump and the thermo fans. The pedals and whatnot we got from KE Conversions, so hit them up if you need the pedals. The wiring loom, don't know if you can see that there. It's a job from Killer Customs, I believe. Pretty much just cut out everything we don't need, left a few extra wires to hook up gauges and everything else. The hydraulic handbrake will be going right about there. Just use your imagination. And yeah, that's pretty much the interior for now. We've got custom rails. Where was this rail from? You remember? Excessive. Yeah. The rail was from Excessive as well, if you guys want it. It bolted up pretty easily, but yeah, it's coming along nicely. A few more things and she'll be ready to fire up. Just in reference to the clutch pedal, this is from KE Conversions, and I believe the master cylinder itself is a Land Cruiser one. He sort of just gives you everything in the kit. It's the fuel pressure gauge. The clutch in this is some expensive Exceedy one, but you know, should hold up fine. The car itself should be running standard power aside from just a ECU flash tune sort of setup, but other than that, don't know if you want to see more of this thing, but pretty much got to wire it up. I'll finish the wiring, finish some of the interior. The fuel system's pretty much done, but yeah, it's just a few little pieces now and things should be ready to fire up. Anyway, I just thought I'd post this. If anybody needs any help or information putting one together, we'll do our best to help you guys out. Thanks for watching.